What would you think if I told you the reason you can't forget her has almost nothing to do with her? That what lingers in your mind is not her smile, her voice, or even the warmth of her touch, but something buried deep inside you, an imprint of your own psyche reflected through her presence. If you've ever felt trapped in this invisible prison, share it in the comments below, because many men carry this secret, and your voice might remind another man that he is not alone. Let us begin with the truth written in your biology. When you fell for her, your brain became a theater of chemistry. Dopamine surged, turning each kiss into a reward your body craved. Oxytocin wrapped her into your sense of safety, whispering you belong here. Serotonin attached your worth to her presence, as if she was the anchor of your identity. So when she walked away, your nervous system didn't just lose a partner, it lost its center of gravity. Neuroscience tells us heartbreak activates the same neural circuits as physical pain. That is why forgetting feels impossible. Your body insists she is still the cure to your hunger, even when she is gone. But beneath the surface of chemistry lies the deeper truth. Carl Jung called it projection, the unconscious act of casting your inner world onto another human being. She wasn't only herself. She was also the vessel for your anima, the inner feminine archetype that every man carries. In her, you saw more than a partner. You saw tenderness, mystery, salvation qualities you had longed for but had not yet discovered within. She became not just a woman, but a mirror of your soul. And when she left, it wasn't just her absence that broke you. It was the loss of those hidden pieces of yourself that you had placed upon her. I recall a man named David, 42, who told me, "It's like she's still in my bloodstream. I don't even want her back, but she won't leave me." As we looked closer, we found she had awakened something older than their relationship, the wound of a boy whose father abandoned him. Loving her was not only about her, it was about trying to heal a story written long before she entered his life. When she left, the wound reopened. That is why he couldn't forget. And perhaps that is why you cannot forget either. Because it was never just her. It was what she represented: safety, belonging, redemption, or the hope of being chosen at last. You are haunted not by her memory, but by the echo of your own unconscious calling you back to what you have left unresolved. So the real reason you can't forget her is this: she carried a part of you that you had not yet learned to carry yourself. And your mind, your body, your soul refused to let go, not of her, but of what she awakened in you. But knowing this truth is not enough. The question becomes, if she was never truly the reason, what do you do with the pain that remains? That is where the journey turns next. Have you ever wondered why, after the breakup, she still visits you in the quietest corners of your mind? Why her shadow lingers, even when you've blocked her number, erased the photos, and told yourself you're done? The real reason is this: she isn't hurting you anymore. Your ego is. The ego is a fragile architect. It builds identity around the idea that I was chosen, I was loved, I was enough. And when she left, that fragile temple cracked. Suddenly the ego whispers, if she walked away, then I must not be enough. That whisper repeats like a wound that will not clot. This is why forgetting her feels impossible. It's not only about memory, it's about your very sense of worth fighting for survival. Science confirms this torment. Studies show that rejection lights up the same regions of the brain that process physical pain. But more than pain, it destabilizes the circuits of self-esteem. When your brain connected her presence with your sense of value, her absence didn't just remove a person, it tore at your identity. That's why you dream of her, why you replay conversations, why you analyze every last text. The ego is desperate to stitch itself back together with her thread. I remember Michael, 35, who sat across from me whispering, "I don't even miss her. I miss who I was when she loved me." And that is the essence. You are not only grieving her, you are grieving the version of yourself you believed existed only in her gaze. The ego tells you that without her reflection, you are less. And so it clings, rewinds, refuses to let go. Here is the subtle but powerful truth. She did not make you valuable. She only mirrored the value you already carried. But your ego cannot accept that easily, because the ego thrives on control, on the illusion that it can secure love forever if it is perfect enough, charming enough, strong enough. When she left, the illusion shattered and the ego is still on its knees picking up shards. So, here is a small step you can try tonight when you catch yourself replaying her voice. Pause and tell yourself gently, this is not about her. This is my ego, fearing emptiness. I am more than this fear. That single shift weakens the trap. It begins to remind you that forgetting her is not the cure reclaiming your worth is. But don't mistake this insight for the end of the journey. Naming the ego's trap is only the doorway. The deeper work lies beyond confronting the hidden shadows she awakened in you, the parts of yourself you've long avoided. And that is where the real unraveling begins. Have you ever noticed how the people who touch you the deepest also bring out the darkest corners of who you are? The woman you can't forget didn't just awaken your love. She awakened your shadow. And that's one of the hidden reasons she lingers inside you long after she's gone. Your shadow, as Jung described it, is not something mystical. It is simply the part of you that you don't want to see. The anger you suppress, the fear of being unworthy, the hunger to be accepted, the jealousy you pretend you never feel. All of these hide in the dark. And when you loved her, she brought that hidden part into the light. That's why your feelings for her were so powerful. Love didn't just show you her beauty, it showed you your unfinished wounds. I once worked with a man named Robert, who told me, I hate her for leaving me, but I also hate myself for how needy I was with her. What he couldn't see was that she had touched the shadow. He carried a fear of abandonment that had followed him since childhood. Her leaving didn't create that pain, it revealed it. And that is why she feels unforgettable. Because through her, he was forced to face a truth about himself he had avoided for years. The same may be true for you. You think you can't forget her because she was special, and maybe she was. But more than that, you can't forget her because she showed you something about yourself you didn't want to see. That's why she lingers, not just in your memory, but in your body, in your habits, in your dreams. She became the key that unlocked a door you've kept closed. If you've ever felt a woman awaken parts of you that you didn't want to face, share it in the comments below. Your voice may give another man the courage to face his own shadow. So here is a gentle step you can take instead of asking, why can't I forget her? Try asking, what part of myself did she make me see that I've been afraid to face? Write down one honest answer tonight. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be true. This small act of honesty begins the work of reclaiming the shadow as part of your whole self. And here lies the paradox. Forgetting her is not the point. She is unforgettable because she carried a message from your own unconscious. The pain you feel is not a punishment, it is an invitation. She was never here to complete you. She was here to remind you that you are not yet complete. But what happens when you stop running from the shadow and begin to face it? What changes in a man when he no longer hides from the darkest parts of himself? That is where our path will lead next. Have you ever felt as if she was not only a lover, but also the cure for everything broken inside you? That being with her made you calmer, stronger, more alive. Almost as if her love could erase your past wounds. This is one of the most powerful illusions, men fall into. And it's another reason she feels unforgettable. When you looked at her, you didn't just see a woman. You saw the possibility of healing. You believed her affection could the loneliness, her presence could fix the emptiness. Her touch could erase the scars you've carried for years. That's why her memory clings so tightly, because your mind connected her to your deepest hope of being whole again. I remember a man named Anthony who told me, "When she was beside me, I felt like the world finally made sense. When she left, everything collapsed." What Anthony didn't realize was that she had become a symbol, not just a partner. She represented the medicine he had been searching for since childhood, a medicine no one person could ever truly provide. And that's why losing her felt like losing his chance at healing itself. The truth is simple, though. Time to shun fall. No woman can carry the full weight of your healing. She can inspire you, she can walk beside you, but she cannot erase what belongs to your own work. When you believe she was the cure, your brain links her memory with survival itself. And that is why she remains like a ghost. You are not only missing her, you are missing the illusion that she could make you whole. So, here is a step you can take right now. The next time her image appears in your mind, whisper to yourself, "She was not the cure. She was the mirror." Then write down one way you can begin giving yourself the comfort you once sought from her. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's journaling. The act is small, but it rewires the link in your brain. The reason this matters is because healing doesn't come from clinging to someone else. It comes from reclaiming the pieces of yourself you once handed away. She is unforgettable because she held those pieces for a time, but the longer you keep waiting for her memory to release you, the longer you delay the chance to pick them back up. And so the question grows sharper: if she was never the true medicine, then what is? Where does the real path to healing begin for a man who cannot forget? That answer lies deeper than the memory of her smile, and it is waiting just ahead. Have you ever blamed her 1,000 times in your head, telling yourself she destroyed you, that she ruined your life, that she took away your peace? It's natural to feel this way after heartbreak, but the deeper truth is this: she did not break you. What broke you was the voice of your own ego, whispering that you were only valuable as long as she stayed. The ego is like a fragile mask you wear. It tells you, if she loves me, I matter. If she leaves, I am nothing. This is why her absence burns so deeply. It's not only the loss of her, but the collapse of that mask. Suddenly, you feel exposed, vulnerable, stripped of the story you used to believe about yourself. And because the ego fears emptiness more than anything, it clings to her memory as if holding on to her could rebuild the mask. I once worked with James, a man who told me, "She took everything from me. But when we slowed down, we saw the truth. She didn't take everything. What collapsed was the illusion that his worth depended on her presence." When he realized this, he cried not for her, but for the years he had lived imprisoned by that belief. And maybe you too are not haunted by her, but by the story your ego keeps repeating, that you were enough only when she was here. That story is not true, but it feels true because you believed it for so long. The reason you cannot forget her is because forgetting her feels like forgetting your own value. And so your mind refuses to let go, even when your heart knows the relationship is over. Here is a simple step you can practice today when your thoughts accuse her of ruining you. Pause and reframe it. Say out loud, "She didn't break me. My ego broke when it lost control. But I am still here." Write that down. Repeat it when the memories rise. This isn't denial. It's reclaiming the power that was always yours. The shift is subtle but powerful. When you stop blaming her and begin seeing the ego for what it is, the weight starts to lift. You realize that forgetting her was never the problem, healing your sense of worth is. And that changes the game completely. But here's the question that follows: if the ego isn't the enemy, but only a frightened voice inside you, how do you calm it? How do you guide it so that it no longer chains you to her memory? That is the step we take next, and it will bring you closer to the freedom you've been searching for. Have you noticed how every place, every song, even the smallest detail seems to whisper her name? You walk into a cafe and smell the same coffee she used to order, and suddenly she's there again. A random melody plays on the radio, and it feels like she is sitting in the passenger seat. It almost feels like the world itself is conspiring to keep her alive in your mind. But here's the secret. It's not really her you're holding on to. It's the version of yourself you only allowed to exist when she was near. When you loved her, you gave her the keys to certain parts of you, your laughter, your tenderness, your ability to believe you were enough. She became the guardian of your best self, and as long as she stayed, those qualities felt safe. And now with her gone, it feels like she took them with her. That is why she seems unforgettable, not because she was magic, but because you entrusted her with pieces of yourself that were always meant to belong to you. I once worked with a man in his 50s who came to me after his divorce. He said it's like she walked away with my joy. I don't even know how to smile anymore. His words carried a weight I could almost feel in the room, but over time, Samuel began to see that his joy hadn't been stolen. It was buried, yes, buried, under years of believing that his happiness depended on her presence. His true task was not to erase her memory, but to call back the parts of himself he had abandoned. That realization changed everything. He laughed again, not because she returned, but because he gave himself permission to be whole. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe the reason you can't forget her is because you've convinced yourself that she was the only reason you could feel alive, confident, or worthy. But what if she was never the source? What if she was only the mirror, reflecting what was already there? Here's something you can try tonight. Write down 3 qualities you loved about yourself when you were with her. Did you feel funnier, kinder, more courageous? Choose one of those qualities, then ask, how can I live this without her presence? Tomorrow, take one small step that proves it is still yours. Tell a joke, call a friend, offer kindness to a stranger. Show yourself that you never lost it. It was always inside you. The truth is, moving on is not about forcing yourself to forget. Forgetting is not the medicine. Reclaiming is. Each time you take back a piece of yourself you once handed to her, her memory loses a little of its power. Not because she fades away, but because you rise stronger, fuller, more whole. But this journey doesn't stop with reclaiming yourself. There is still one more step, a deeper freedom waiting, the kind of peace that comes when you no longer measure your worth by anyone else's eyes. You have taken back the pieces of yourself. What remains is the final step to turn this reclaiming into real healing and lasting freedom. That is where our journey will close. The end of this journey is not about erasing her face from your memory. The truth is, you may never forget her completely, and you don't need to. Healing is not about erasing the past. It is about transforming the meaning of it. The freedom you're searching for does not come from forgetting her. It comes from remembering yourself. Look back for a moment at the path you've walked. You thought you couldn't forget her because she was unique. But we uncovered the deeper truth. Your brain wired her presence into your sense of survival. Your ego told you that you mattered only when she stayed. Your shadow revealed itself through her showing the wounds you had long buried. And when she left, all of these forces collided, leaving you haunted. That is the real reason she feels unforgettable. It was never just about her. It was always about you, your biology, your ego, your shadow, your longing for completion. So what now? This is where healing begins. Healing means taking back the pieces of yourself you gave away. It means no longer blaming her for carrying what you were afraid to hold. It means seeing her not as the cure, not as the wound, but as the mirror that showed you where your work begins. Here's a step you can take tonight. Sit quietly for 2 minutes and breathe slowly. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, I am whole even without her. Write down one small act of care you can give yourself tomorrow, something simple like cooking a meal, taking a walk, or calling a friend. Each small act rewires your mind to see that healing comes from you. Do this daily, not to erase her, but to strengthen the bond with yourself. Because every time you choose self-care over self-blame, you weaken the ghost of her memory. You prove to yourself that forgetting her is not necessary. Reclaiming yourself is enough. The truth is, you are not broken. You never were. You only believed that love was the glue holding you together. But the deeper reality is this: you are whole already. And love, when it comes again, will be the overflow, not the medicine. And so remember this: the woman who knows her value doesn't chase, she chooses. And the man who knows his value doesn't beg. Memory to fade. He builds a life so full, the memory becomes just a story he once lived. Your journey is not about forgetting her. It is about choosing yourself again and again until her ghost no longer defines your nights. That is the real freedom. That is the healing you have been searching for. If this message spoke to you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Remember, you are not broken. You are becoming.